Apple is secretly working on their next big thing, and the internet is losing its mind over the leaks. Plus, we've got some last-minute leaks on the all-new iPad series, we've got some new info on the iPhone 16, and one of Apple's most famous employees might be plotting to work against them. We've got some really wild Apple news to break down this week, so let me break down the leaks, all the rumors, all the rivalries, and weird Apple news you need to know about right now. So with WWDC finally confirmed for early June, seems like lately things have been quiet on the Apple rumor front. There haven't been a whole lot of leaks, a whole lot of rumors. Apple hasn't really made a lot of announcements. There was no big spring event. The M3 MacBook Air launched with pretty little fanfare. Seems like Apple's been heads down at work on their next big software updates, which hopefully, according to the little leaks we do know, should be pretty significant. It's huge upgrades coming to iOS 18, which should look more Vision OS-like. Speaking of that, Vision OS 2.0 should be hopefully a pretty big deal and make the Apple Vision Pro headset a little bit more useful and stuff like that. Apple has sort of been working on their next big thing. And while we do have some leaks and some interesting things to talk about with new AirPods and new iPads and stuff like that, I think first we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's this. I think most of us sort of laughed it off a couple of years ago when Amazon was gonna enter the home robot space. I think they do currently sell, do they? The Astro robot that is supposed to follow you around and do certain things and sort of cute, sort of creepy and weird, and I don't think anyone really bought it or uses it, or at least most people don't. There's also the idea of that Ring drone camera that could like shoot up and fly around your house and check for things. Did that thing even ever launch? The idea of home robots sort of seemed quirky and niche and like left to like little startup companies and Amazon, but now we're hearing that this might actually be considered Apple's next big thing. Bloomberg is reporting that now that Apple has shuttered their multi-year, multi-billion-dollar car project that Project Titan could never get off the ground, Apple is now sort of looking to focus on something else as their next big thing, and apparently, maybe in a list of some other things, robotics, specifically home robots, seem to be an area of particular interest in what Apple thinks could be sort of the next big thing for the company over the next decade or so. According to recent reports, it seems like sort of the end game, what Apple would love to build, is a fully autonomous, AI-driven, like actual little robot that could do things around your house. It would do chores, it would do the mundane tasks, it would help you out. That would sort of be what they want to build, which Tesla's sort of doing this with the Optimus robot, though it's much more commercial focused than it is residential. But I don't know, if you threw a glowing Apple logo on this thing, would you want it in your house? I mean, Apple is known for great design and for making things approachable and comfortable, but I don't know how they would do that with a robot. I guess the idea sounds cool, but also sort of sounds creepy, and there's a lot of engineering complications Apple would have to sort of overcome to actually make that real. The other more sort of near-term thing and the more sort of doable thing seems to be some sort of tabletop robot Apple is experimenting with. Again, the idea here is that it's AI-driven, it could help you do things. Maybe it would have a camera built in that would sort of be able to capture you on FaceTime calls and move around as you moved around the room, sort of like center stage, but like in real life with a robot. I don't know. Am I the only one that sort of seems like this is just a really weird area for Apple to get into? I mean, I guess the idea is that the promise is there and there's a lot of uncapped potential and there's a lot of cool things you could do in the robot space, but Apple making a home robot just sort of seems weird. Speaking of things that seem weird and very un-Apple-like is another thing I should discuss with you guys, and that is a new partnership between Jony Ive and Sam Altman from OpenAI. We heard about this a couple of months ago, that interesting dynamic duo was teaming up to make some sort of personal AI device, and now we're hearing that not only are they working together on this new product, but one of the big investors to this new company could be a member of the Jobs family. Yes, that Steve Jobs family. New reports are emerging that Ive and Altman have formed this secret company. They're working on this new secret device, and we don't know what it is. It's some sort of personal AI device, which is what everybody's building these days, but that they're looking to raise hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to fund this new secretive startup. And while little is known about what this device could be, if you look at the track record of the two men behind the company, things get very interesting. You have Sam Altman, he's sort of the main guy at OpenAI, and you know, OpenAI is the company behind ChatGPT and some other things. I mean, that company is doing very, incredible things, and Sam Altman is a very smart guy who's teaming up with Jony Ive, who is an Apple legend known for being one of, if not the most popular industrial designers in the world, who is responsible for some of the most famous and most well-used products on the planet. A great mind and a great designer sort of coming together, sort of like the old days of Jobs and Ive, could lead to a very maybe magical experience with this new product. And speaking of Jobs, we're hearing that Lorraine Powell Jobs could be an investor in this company through one of her VC firms. So you're looking at potentially a Ives sort of reunion in a sense, a lot of money being put into this new product. And we're also hearing that not only could there be a lot of money behind this and a lot of energy, but this might be a direct competitor to what Apple is also doing in this space. We know that Apple is also, like many other companies, super interested in AI these days. They want to build their own personal AI with the iPhone 16, and they're investing a lot of resources and stuff. They're looking into robots and stuff, and it seems likely that as we progress over the next couple of years, this new secretive Jony Ive device and Apple are going to be competing in the same space. So that is going to be interesting. Again, not something we had on our 2024 bingo card, but looks to be something happening in the not too distant future. All right, let's move away from hypothetical products and get to the sort of brass tacks here and talk about what is coming next, because it's been a long time since we got any updates on significant Apple products. I mean, again, we had the M3 Air, but it's kind of whatever. What about new iPads? It has been a long time since Apple has given us any new iPad hardware, but that hiatus is set to be over very soon in early May, where we should get at least a handful of brand new iPad updates. iPad Air, for example, going to be getting the M3 chip inside. The camera is going to be moving from the portrait position to the landscape position, which makes a lot of sense because most people do FaceTime calls like this, not like this with the iPad, so that makes sense. And then also, for the first time, a brand new iPad Air model with a larger screen. This would have a 12.9-inch screen that would give you the big screen iPad experience minus the Pro stuff. I mean, if you wanted the big screen iPad experience now, you have to go iPad Pro. You have to go 12.9, mini LED, ProMotion, all that stuff, but that's about to change with this new model. A lot of people just want a big screen for watching movies or playing games or reading stuff on the web. They don't need ProMotion and mini LED, soon to be OLED, and other pro features. They just want a big screen, which is why this new iPad Air is perfect and is gonna be a very welcomed addition to the lineup. Even though my iPad lineup is a little crowded in 2024, but I think I'll make an exception. I think this one makes a lot of sense. And like I just mentioned, on the iPad Pro side, we're finally getting OLED displays. It's sort of the big announcement for iPad Pro, the move to OLED. And yeah, just gonna be a really good screen experience for watching movies, playing iPadOS games. Basically, if you're into content consumption, this is a really good screen for your iPad and should be great. Other features of what you'd expect, M3 chip inside, the change of the camera orientation on there as well. And there's some other sort of crazier rumors, maybe MagSafe support built in for wireless charging, maybe a matte screen option, but those are a little more to be determined. OLED seems to be the most definitive thing, along with a price increase. As the screens are gonna get better, Apple does not look to be absorbing those costs, so expect to pay a bit more money this year for your iPad Pro if you want one of those new ones with the new screens. Flip side of that, though, is that Apple does appear to be looking a bit more into their lower cost offerings and making those better. Like I had mentioned in a previous video, iPhone SE 4 is shaping up to be a really big upgrade. We've got that $699 MacBook Air that you can get from Walmart, not a bad deal at all. And then also we've got more rumors and kind of confirmation. Apple is working to release a $99 pair of AirPods later this year. It seems like what Apple is gonna do is update the AirPods 3rd gen to the 4th generation, which will have a shorter stem design like AirPods Pro, it'll have active noise cancellation, and then basically they're gonna rebrand or even just sort of reduce the price of AirPods Gen 3 down to this newer, lower cost. So it looks like AirPods Gen 3 will come at a new $99 price tag, and then the line will move up from there. Also, of course, AirPods Max should be getting an update sometime soon. That was interesting. I noticed the other day that Target was listing AirPods Max as Generation 1. I hadn't seen that before in my deals browsing in the morning, so thought that was interesting. Of course, Gen 2 is coming with potentially new colors, USB-C port, and that's about it. Probably still gonna be an astronomical $550, which for that is, it's Apple, but still a lot. And finally, to wrap things up, what kind of Apple news video would this be if I didn't talk about iPhone 16? And while the iPhone 16 news has sort of slowed down recently, still a couple of things you should know about. One is that we've got continued confirmation that the bezels on these phones should be getting slimmer, specifically on the 16 Pros. Apple's gonna make those bezels thinner and thinner, so more screen real estate is gonna be great. We've got some alleged dummy models of what the lineup could look like. Again, vertical cameras going to the iPhone 16, and then also a new leak potentially of battery capacities for these phones, showing a slight increase in every single model except the iPhone 16 Plus, the only phone in this list that actually got a decrease in battery capacity, and no one seems to know why. The prevailing theory is that the gains with the improvements of the chips and the efficiency probably would mitigate any kind of battery loss. But if this alleged info is real, kind of weird that every single phone would get an increase, and 16 Plus wouldn't even stay the same. It actually got a decrease. Not sure if that is going to be turning out to be accurate or not, but that's sort of one of the latest leaks on the iPhone 16 that I'd share with you all. As always, I want to know your thoughts on the Apple news of the week. Your thoughts on Apple robots, your thoughts on iPhone 16, new iPads. Do you think the spring event should have happened? Should have not have? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching the Apple Circle. I appreciate you all. Yes, you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.